Have you ever felt like you're being controlled, like someone's pulling the strings behind your back without you even noticing? Well, here's the hard truth. Manipulation is everywhere. But you're not like everyone else. I know you're here because you refuse to live an average life, blindly following the crowd. If that's not you, if you're not ready to transform yourself, then stop watching right now. Seriously, go back to whatever mediocre routine you were in. But if you're ready to unlock the hidden manipulation strategies that they don't want you to know, if you're ready to protect yourself and use these skills to rise above, then stay with me. Because this video isn't just about information, it's about transformation. I'm sharing things I wish someone had told me when I was younger. I've been manipulated, blindsided, and left wondering why I didn't see it coming. But those days are gone, and I want to make sure they're gone for you too. So lock the door, block out the world, and commit to this. Because by the end of this video, you'll either stay average, or you'll start walking the path to becoming unstoppable. The choice is yours. Number 1, the Trojan horse compliment. At first glance, compliments seem harmless, perhaps even flattering. But what if I told you that compliments are often used as a tool for manipulation? A Trojan horse compliment is a praise or flattery disguised to lower your guard, making you feel good while also serving an ulterior motive. For instance, let's say someone compliments you on your professional success, saying, "You're so much smarter than most people in this industry. I've always admired how sharp you are." It seems like a genuine compliment, right? But here's the catch. The manipulator's goal is to make you feel indebted, allowing them to later ask for favors or subtly steer your decisions. They praise you to make you feel closer to them and more trusting. But behind that sweet praise is a hidden agenda. Take a moment and think back to a situation where you received a compliment. Did it come with a request or an attempt to influence your choices? Perhaps someone praised your appearance and then suggested a purchase, knowing you'd feel more inclined to consider it. Or maybe you were complimented on your decision-making, only to be asked for a favor afterward. In such cases, the compliment is no longer just about praise, it's a strategy. The lesson here is clear. Always question the timing and intent behind compliments. Ask yourself, why are they saying this? What do they expect from me in return? When you begin to recognize compliments as potential manipulation, you take away their power to control your actions. Number 2, the silent pressure serve. Silence has power, and manipulators know exactly how to use it to their advantage. Imagine you're in a conversation where everything seems fine, but then someone suddenly stops talking. The silence becomes uncomfortable, almost unbearable. They won't speak, won't make a move, and you're left filling the void. This is when the manipulator can control the narrative, subtly guiding you to reveal too much or to agree to things you might not otherwise have. Think about a situation where you're negotiating a deal or making a decision, and the other party goes silent after you present your offer. Initially, you might think you've said something wrong, and the silence makes you want to fill the gap with an explanation or a better offer. This is the manipulator's goal. They use silence to create pressure and manipulate your response. One of the most famous examples of this comes from business negotiations. The silent treatment is often used by experienced negotiators to make the other party feel uncomfortable, pushing them to offer more or concede on key points. It's a psychological trick. They don't have to speak to pressure you, they just have to remain quiet long enough to make you doubt your position. To protect yourself, it's essential to embrace the silence. Don't feel compelled to fill every pause with words. Instead, let the silence linger and let the other person feel the discomfort. It's okay to sit with the tension. The more comfortable you become with silence, the less control others have over you in these situations. Remember, you have the power to control the silence, not the other way around. Number 3, anchoring to your weak spots. Everyone has insecurities, things they wish were different about themselves. Maybe it's a personal struggle like low self-esteem, doubts about your career, or insecurity about how you look. Manipulators are masters at identifying and exploiting these weak spots. They will use your vulnerabilities as tools to control you. For example, imagine someone at work comments on how competitive your industry is, followed by, It must be so tough to stay ahead. You're doing well, but I'm sure there are others who are more experienced than you, right? At first, it sounds like a friendly, casual remark, but in reality, they've just planted a seed of doubt in your mind. They've highlighted a weakness, your perceived lack of experience, and created an opportunity to swoop in as your savior. This is the anchoring technique. They bring up your weaknesses, make you feel vulnerable, and then offer themselves as the solution to your problems. A personal example of this tactic could be in a relationship. Perhaps someone notices you're going through a difficult time, and without offering genuine support, they say, "It must be hard for you, always trying to make things work. I know someone who could really help you with that." This is an attempt to anchor you to your weakness, your emotional vulnerability, so they can later offer you their help or influence your decisions. To guard against this manipulation, be aware of your vulnerabilities. Acknowledge your weaknesses, but don't let them define you or give others leverage over you. Take charge of your insecurities before anyone else tries to use them against you. If you're secure in your own skin, no one can use your weaknesses as a tool to manipulate or control you. Number 4, weaponizing kindness. Kindness is something we all value, but what happens when kindness is used strategically? Manipulators often weaponize kindness to create a sense of obligation, making you feel like you owe them something in return. It might start small. Someone does you a favor, helps you with a task, or gives you a gift. It seems generous, right? But here's the catch. Manipulators will keep score, and eventually they'll expect something in return, often much more than you ever anticipated. Think about a time when someone did something nice for you, but later they subtly reminded you of it, saying things like, I've done so much for you. It would be great if you could help me out in return." This is how kindness can become a form of manipulation. The manipulator doesn't give without expecting something in return. They use their generosity as a way to create a sense of debt. A real-life example could be in a workplace setting. A colleague might go out of their way to cover your shift, buy you lunch, or help with a project. At the time, you feel grateful and appreciative, but later they might ask for a favor, using their past acts of kindness as leverage. "You owe me for helping you out before, remember?" To avoid falling into this trap, learn to recognize when someone's kindness comes with strings attached. It's not about rejecting help, but about understanding that not every act of kindness is pure. When you accept favors, ask yourself, what does this person expect in return? If it feels like kindness with an agenda, consider whether it's worth accepting. Number 5, the illusion of scarcity. A common trick used by manipulators is to create a false sense of urgency or scarcity. They'll say things like, "This is the last chance you'll get," or "We only have a few left in stock." The goal is to make you act quickly without considering all your options or taking the time to think it through. Manipulators rely on your fear of missing out to push you into making a rushed decision. Let's take a sales example. A salesperson might tell you, "This is a one-time offer, only available for today." This statement triggers a sense of urgency, making you feel like you'll miss out on something special if you don't act immediately. But in reality, if something is truly valuable, it won't disappear overnight. In personal relationships, this can play out as well. A manipulative partner might create a sense of scarcity around their attention, saying things like, "If you don't act now, we might not have another chance to make this work." This pressure forces you to make decisions based on fear rather than logic. The key to protecting yourself from the illusion of scarcity is to take a step back and think critically. Ask yourself, is this opportunity really a once-in-a-lifetime chance, or is it being presented as such to rush me into a decision? The more you slow down and analyze the situation, the less power the manipulator has over you. Number 6, hijacking your emotions. Manipulators are incredibly skilled at using your emotions as tools to control your actions. They know that emotions can cloud your judgment, making it easier to manipulate you without you even realizing it. A manipulator might intentionally push your buttons to make you angry, sad, or even overly excited. When your emotions are running high, you're less likely to think logically or see the bigger picture. You might act impulsively or make decisions that you wouldn't normally make. For example, you're in a heated conversation with someone, and they say something that triggers your anger. You feel your blood boil, your heart rate increase, and your body tenses up. In that moment, your emotional reaction takes over. Now, the manipulator has you exactly where they want you. They can lead the conversation in any direction they choose, and you're too emotionally charged to resist. Or perhaps in a business meeting, someone pushes your excitement over a project by giving you a false sense of urgency or overwhelming you with enthusiasm about an opportunity. You may end up making a hasty decision, excited about what's being promised, only to regret it later. The key to counteracting this tactic is awareness. When you feel a surge of emotion, especially if it's sudden and intense, take a pause. Ask yourself, what are they trying to make me feel? Why are they pushing my emotions in this direction? By recognizing when your emotions are being hijacked, you can regain control over your actions and prevent yourself from falling for their manipulations. Remember, emotions are powerful, but they should never dictate your decisions. Number 7, the fake consensus manipulators often try to convince you that everyone is on their side. They'll use phrases like, everyone's doing it, nobody thinks that way anymore, or it's common sense, everyone agrees with me. The goal is to make you feel like an outsider if you disagree. They want you to believe that you are the odd one out, that your perspective is outdated or wrong, and that the majority is always right. But here's the truth. You are not everyone, and the loudest voices aren't necessarily the wisest ones. Take a look at peer pressure, for example. We've all been there, whether in school or at work, where someone tries to convince you that everyone is doing something, making you feel like you're missing out or making a bad choice if you don't follow suit. In reality, just because the majority of people are doing something doesn't mean it's the right choice for you. A manipulator may use this tactic when trying to convince you to buy something you don't need, join a movement you don't believe in, or make a decision that's against your better judgment. They're not trying to convince you based on logic. They're using the crowd mentality to pressure you. To resist this manipulation, remind yourself that popular opinion doesn't equate to truth or wisdom. Trust your own judgment. Just because everyone is doing something doesn't mean it's the best course of action. Number 8. The pity trap. This is a classic manipulation strategy, playing the victim. When someone constantly presents themselves as a helpless, suffering individual, they are often using pity to manipulate you into doing what they want. They want you to feel sorry for them. And because of your empathy or compassion, you end up fulfilling their needs or desires without question. This tactic is especially dangerous because it plays on your natural desire to help others and alleviate their pain. Think of a time when you've encountered someone who was constantly in a state of crisis. Perhaps a friend or coworker who always seemed to be facing some form of misfortune. They might say things like, I don't know how I'm going to make it through, or I just need a little help, I'm really struggling right now. They may seem vulnerable and it pulls at your heartstrings. They make you feel guilty if you don't help, as though you're abandoning them in their time of need. But be cautious. Manipulators use pity to create a sense of guilt and obligation. They want you to feel responsible for their problems, even if they're creating the problems themselves. It's important to recognize when pity is being used as a tool for manipulation. Instead of reacting out of guilt, step back and evaluate the situation objectively. Ask yourself, are they truly in need? Or are they using their pain to manipulate my actions? Always assess the motives behind their tears before you offer support. Number 9, rewriting reality. Manipulators are experts at altering your perception of reality. They may twist the truth, deny facts, or even slight you into doubting your own memories and experiences. This tactic is one of the most dangerous forms of manipulation because it attacks your sense of self and your ability to trust your own judgment. Over time, if you fall victim to gaslighting, you may start questioning your reality, feeling confused, and even second-guessing your thoughts and actions. For instance, let's say you clearly remember an event where someone promised to do something for you. Later, they deny making that promise, and they might even accuse you of imagining it. This leaves you questioning your memory. Did they really promise? Did I remember it wrong? Manipulators will constantly distort facts and deny events to make you doubt your perceptions and fall into their narrative. A great way to counter this manipulation is by keeping records of important events. Journals, notes, and even screenshots can be invaluable when someone tries to rewrite history. If you feel like someone is gaslighting you, trust your instincts and refer to your own records. Never allow someone to rewrite your reality. Your experiences are valid, and no one has the right to change them for their own benefit. Number 10. The reward-punishment cycle. Manipulators often use a reward-punishment system to control your behavior. They'll give you praise and validation when you comply with their wishes, and they'll withhold approval or even punish you when you don't. This creates a cycle where you crave their approval, and you'll go to great lengths to please them just to avoid the negative consequences. For example, a boss might praise your work when you go above and beyond, but subtly make you feel inadequate if you don't meet their high expectations. Or a partner might shower you with affection when you act in a way that pleases them, but withdraw love or attention when you don't meet their needs. This reward-punishment dynamic keeps you hooked, always striving for their approval and dependent on their validation. To break free from this cycle, it's essential to build your self-worth independently of others' opinions. Recognize when someone is using this manipulative tactic to control you, and don't allow their approval or disapproval to define your actions. You're not here to please others. Your actions should be based on what's best for you, not on the reward or punishment you might receive. Number 11, the power of distraction. Manipulators are often skilled at keeping your attention focused on trivial, irrelevant details, while they make big moves behind the scenes. They distract you with small, shiny things, anything to keep you from noticing their true intentions. This tactic is especially common in politics, business, and personal relationships, where the manipulator keeps you occupied with meaningless distractions while they move forward with their plans. For instance, in a workplace setting, a manipulative colleague might gossip about irrelevant details, creating a buzz around small, inconsequential issues. Meanwhile, they are plotting something bigger, like a power grab or securing a promotion. You're too distracted by the noise they've created to notice what's really going on. To avoid falling for this manipulation, always look beyond what's in front of you. When someone is trying to distract you with irrelevant issues, take a step back and assess the situation as a whole. Ask yourself, what is truly important here? What am I being distracted from? By focusing on the bigger picture, you can avoid being pulled into their web of distractions. Here's the truth. You are not average. If you've made it this far, you've already proven that you're ready to take control. But knowing these strategies is only half the battle. Will you use this knowledge to defend yourself and reclaim your power? Or will you let it slip away like most people do? I'm here for you because I believe in your potential, but the choice is yours. You have the power to protect yourself from these manipulations and take charge of your own life. If you want to master the art of dark psychology and manipulation, I've got something special for you. Check out my dark psychology playlist, packed with powerful insights and strategies to help you understand and navigate the world of manipulation like a pro. So subscribe, share this video, and continue your journey of learning. And remember, the moment you master these strategies, you stop being a target and start becoming unstoppable. Are you ready? Let's do this together.